Hello everyone and welcome to a Tiny Rhino's WordPress video tutorial on installing WordPress with two popular methods. Before we jump in, I would like to remind all of the WordPress users out there to head on over to atinyrhino.com and learn how to increase your organic search engine rankings. Check out the tools and our blog because there is a lot of great content and helpful resources there. Also, if you are not watching this on our blog, but on YouTube, you can click on the link in the description to go to our blog to copy and paste any sample code I'm showing you here for your own WordPress website. Okay, let's jump into the tutorial. There are two popular ways to install WordPress. One of them is a little easier than the other. So we're going to start off with the easier one. Now that all goes through your web hosting company and the installation is done behind the scenes. So if you have web hosting companies such as Godaddy, Bluehost, hostgator, 1&1, and any of the other popular hosting companies, you will be happy to know that they have a one-click installation where you can just simply fill out a form after clicking a WordPress icon and they get all the work done for you behind the scenes. So let's look at Godaddy. Now GoDaddy has their own installation platform, although most of the web hosting companies have something called cPanel. And cPanel is a program that helps you centralize all of your web hosting features. But GoDaddy has its own application installation program, and you can see from here that there are other types of programs other than WordPress. But all we need to do is click on the icon and wait a few seconds. And it asks you if you want to continue to install WordPress, so let's click on the install button. And from here, we can just fill in the form. So let's do that. Now, we can have different particular domains that we can install WordPress on, or we can have a directory, but let's just do this. Let's call something admin with a capital A. The password has to be 7 to 15 characters, but this is only for GoDaddy. It might be different on your web hosting company. So let's just do this. Let's say let's put in our email. So we'll just say a tiny rhino, and whatever the blog title would be. So we're just going to call this a tiny rhino tutorial and click the OK button. At that point, all it's doing is installing WordPress for you right behind the scenes, and whatever email address that you just put in will get a notification that the blog is ready. And that's how you do the one-click installation with your web hosting company. Now we're going to move on to the famous 5-minute installation on WordPress.org. Next, we are going to install WordPress using the famous 5-minute install. So now the first thing we need to do is go to WordPress.org and click on the Download WordPress button in the upper right-hand corner. And one more time, we're going to click on this button, or you can right-click and select Save Link As. And save it right down. Now, we're going to wait for it to finish. Once it's done downloading, we're going to have our zip file. So let's click on it, open it up. And we will unzip everything. And now we're all set to install WordPress. So what we have to do is we have to create ourselves a database to hold all of this data. Now, I use PHPMyAdmin. So I'm going to create a database called WordPress 4. You can name the database anything, but remember the name because you're going to add it into the config file. Let's click on Create. And now we have a WordPress 4 database. Now at this moment, we're going to go to our WordPress installation here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to enter our language. So I speak English, we're going to select English, but you can select any language you want. Click continue. Now, at this point, we need to configure the information for the database and the security. So one thing we have to do is we have to open up the config file. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to rename the wp-config-sample to just wp-config. And let's open it up. Now, we just need to enter some information for our database and to fill in the security information, the keys and the salts, and we're good to go. So first thing we're going to do is put in our database name, which in my case was WordPress 4. And then the user, I just have root and no password, but you pretty much should have a password. This is just a local installation, so I'm not going to enter a password. We leave the local host at the local host unless your web hosting company gives you some other information, or your network administrator. Now we need to fill in this security information. So we're going to highlight this hyperlink right here and visit that web page. And it's going to give us some information here. So we just really need to just select this information and replace what we have here. And then we save our wp-config. Now we're going to go back to this web page right here where we set up our installation and click on Let's Go. And then we simply need to fill in the form. So let's just say our site title is a tiny Rhino tutorial. The username is what your admin user is going to be. So it should be pretty hard to figure out for most people, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to say admin. And the password should be at least 6 to 8 characters with at least a number and a letter and also some punctuation marks, but I'm just going to call it admin for now. And in our email, so our email would be tinyrhino.com or whatever your email would be. And let's go ahead and click the Install WordPress button. And when you see this success box, it means you have successfully completed the 5-minute installation. All you have to do now is just click the login button, and it takes you right back to your admin and you're all set to go. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you have a WordPress website and you want to learn how to increase your organic search engine ranking, then head on over to tinyrhino.com to check out some amazing tools and helpful articles to teach you how to do just that.